Hello everyone, in this video we will be taking a look at the Kali Linux operating system. It is the most widely used operating system in the penetration testing world. We will be taking a brief overview at it, and also we will be knowing the reasons as to why it's mainly used in the penetration testing world. So let's begin.
Now if you haven't subscribed yet, then please hit the red subscribe button and also hit the bell notification icon so that you remain notified each time we upload a video.
So here is the official Kali Linux Wikipedia page. I'll put the link in the description. You can go and check it out. So it says that Kali Linux is a Debian derived Linux distribution designed for digital forensics and penetration testing. It is maintained and funded by Offensive Security Limited. It was developed by Matthew Aharoni and Devon Kearns of Offensive Security through the rewrite of Backtrack. Basically, it was previously known as the Backtrack operating system, which was based on Ubuntu, and now its name has been changed to Kali Linux, and it is now a Debian-based Linux distribution. Obviously, Ubuntu is also based on Debian. So now the question arises as to why this is basically used in the field of ethical hacking and penetration testing, as well as digital forensics. The main reason as to why it's used is because it has all the tools, or at least the softwares, that are mainly used in the field of ethical hacking and penetration testing. Now, as a penetration tester, you will obviously want all the necessary tools to be in one single place, all right? I mean, you just installed any Linux distribution and you are continuously downloading each and every software that's needed. Now, it's not that the softwares only are useful, all right? There are many other libraries and packages that are needed for every software out there or every tool out there to run. Those are basically like the fuel of any car. Without the fuel, the car won't work. So similarly, those libraries and other necessary files are needed for those softwares to run. All right. So those are also needed, and Kali Linux provides everything in one place. So Kali Linux is basically the most preferred operating system when it comes to ethical hacking and penetration testing. You must have heard about a simple myth that says that if you know Linux, then you will probably know how to hack any systems or something. That is technically true, but only 50%, all right? When it comes to Linux, at least when it comes to ethical hacking and penetration testing, then Kali Linux is used. There are some alternatives which we will be taking a look at in later videos, but Kali Linux is the most widely used and the most popular penetration testing distribution when it comes to ethical hacking and penetration testing. All right. Now, where to download it? So you can visit this link. Obviously, it will be in the description, and this is the kali.org/downloads link. Here you can see a lot of downloads options, like you have the Kali Linux Lite version, which basically does not have much tools installed in it. Then you have the 32-bit version of it, and you have the 64-bit version of it, the ARM version. Then you have Kali Linux 64-bit, which is basically the normal version. And then you have other options like mate, KDE, XFCE, etc. Now you might be wondering what these mean, like mate or a KDE. These are basically the desktop environments of Linux distribution. Every Linux distribution in this world has a desktop environment, all right? They have different types of desktop environment. Many Linux distributions are there that have more than one desktop environments supported in them. Like Kali Linux has over here, the normal version has the Genome desktop environment, and the others like mate, KDE, XFCE. Now you can obviously consider the desktop environments somewhat like a theme, all right? You have different themes in operating systems. So similarly, you can consider the desktop environments like a theme. Now, whether or not a Linux distribution will consume too much resources or it will consume lower amount of resources, it mainly depends on the desktop environment that the Linux distribution has. So in this case, if you have a low resources computer and you want to use Kali Linux, then I would suggest you go for either mate or XFCE. All right, these two are low resource consuming desktop environments, and they will look a bit different from the genuine Kali Linux Kali Linux screenshots and all that you will see on the internet, but that doesn't matter. What mainly matters is the usage of tools, all right, and the different libraries that are pre-installed in it. Everything you will get, each and every tools and libraries in each of the different desktop environments, each of the different desktop environment Kali Linux versions, so you can simply choose whichever one you want, all right. Now when it comes to installation, you can simply install these using a USB stick, or you can use a CD as well. By USB stick I mean pen drive in some countries. You can install that in your hard disk as well, but you can also use techniques like live USB or dual booting as well if you want to install that. Also, one of the most popular and the easiest method to run Linux in any sort of operating system, or side by side any sort of operating system, is by using any virtual machine player. Like you have VMware or VirtualBox, you can use any one of the two you want. I recommend VMware over VirtualBox because VirtualBox sometimes shows errors, and it is very difficult to fix those errors, all right, because it is open source. It might come across bugs, all right. So I recommend you use VMware over VirtualBox. So that's the thing you need to know. And these are actually the VMware or VirtualBox images. So if you download these from the internet, then you can just open these up in VMware or VirtualBox. Just you'll see, if you just select the ISO file or the OVA file, just right click on it and you'll see that open with VMware or VirtualBox, whatever you have installed. Now when it comes to installation, you can read this article which I have posted in my website. You can head over to this link. The link will be in the description. This article says what is virtualization in operating systems, which is basically the procedure to run multiple operating systems side by side. This is a step-by-step guide in which you will get to know how to install or how to run any operating system virtually inside another operating system. So we have used VMware. So if you want to go through, or if you want to follow this particular article, then you will need to install VMware in your system, all right. So that's about the introduction about Kali Linux, about how to install it, where from you can download it, and also about the Wikipedia. So now let's have a look at the Linux distribution as a whole. All right, and we will be using the XFCE version because my laptop is not that resourceful, I should say. So I'll be using the Kali Linux 64-bit XFCE version. All right, so let's get on with the Kali Linux. So this is how a typical Kali Linux distribution looks. You can see that you have the Word applications and all over here. So this is the the interface of the Kali Linux XFCE. Now, depending upon the desktop environment being used, the layout or the interface differs, but that doesn't matter. As I had told you, the main thing that matters is obviously the how to use the tools, mainly how to access the terminal. Now, so over here at the bottom, you can see that you have the Firefox web browser, then you have the terminal, then you have the file manager, then a small search bar or a search option wherein you can search for the different applications that are installed in the system. In case you don't know how to, access them from the command line. If let's say you don't know the command, then you can search for that particular application by just mentioning the name of the application over here. Then you have another option of a file manager. You can just select whatever you want, like you desktop, documents, downloads. Then this is a separate tool that I have installed, music, public, etc. Alright, so if you open up the terminal, so as you can see that this is how the terminal looks. You can go to the edit and go to preferences, and you can change the appearance, colors, compatibility, advanced as per your needs. And you can go to view, and then if you zoom in, then you can simply see that the font size has increased, and you can simply type in the different commands that you want. Let's say for example ls, and then if we want to move to cd desktop for example, then you can see that we are in the desktop directory, and you can see that the eternal blue, double pulse and metasploit or whatever is present over here, you can see over here, and you can also view the same using the terminal. Now obviously if you go to our website, you can see a Linux course over there which is free of cost. I highly recommend that you take that course, and as well as the Python course that is present in our website, so that you can get yourself familiar with the prerequisites to starting your hacking career, which is basically you need to have some Linux knowledge, as well as you need to have some programming knowledge. All right, so cd space dot dot. Now so if you close the terminal over here, if you go to applications, you can see terminal, file manager, mail reader, web browser settings. But what is the main important thing is obviously all these information gathering, vulnerability analysis, web application analysis, database assessment. If you just hover over your mouse to the different categories over here, then you can see that the whatever is stored inside that, whatever falls inside that category, whatever tools or softwares fall inside that particular category, you can see them appearing over here. And if any sort of further classification is needed, like these, for example, DNS analysis, then you can see that DNS analysis tools have appeared over here: DNS enum, DNS map, DNS recon, DNS tracer, DNS walk, etc. ONSINT analysis, which is open source intelligent analysis, you have the most popular Multigo, then the Harvester, etc. Root analysis, you have NetDiscover, then you have OTrace, etc. Then you have SMTP analysis. All these things, we'll be taking a look at all these separately. All right, it cannot be just explained in one single video. Each and every tool more or less needs a single video to explain its working. All right, so you have vulnerability analysis. In this you will find different tools that are used to scan for vulnerabilities of different web applications or websites. You have the very famous Nikto, then Nmap, Sparta, Unis, privilege check, which is privilege escalation check. So you have web application analysis, you have the very popular Burp Suite, then it's a very popular alternative which is Wasp Zap. Then you have things like WebScarab, WP Scan, which is basically used to find vulnerabilities in WordPress websites. Then you have database assessment, you have different tools that can be used to do SQL injection and all, like JSQL injection, SQL map, etc. Password attacks, basically tools that are used to crack passwords. You have the John the Ripper, then the graphical version of it, which is Johnny. And you have word lists as well, which are very strong when it comes to hacking some of the common passwords. Then you have wireless attacks, basically used to hack Wi-Fi and all. You have AirCrackNG, then you have 802.11 wireless tools, which are like Cowputty and all. All these are basically used to hack wireless networks, all right. Then you have reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is basically a technique to reverse engineer a software. In this case, basically what happens is that, let's say you are given a software, any software of a kind, and you are asked to reverse engineer that. Means in engineering what happens, we assemble everything and just make the software. In reverse engineering, what happens is basically you deassemble everything, so that you get to know where from the software came, who developed that software, at what location that software was developed. All these things can be found out using the reverse engineering techniques. Then you have exploit tools like Armitage, which is the graphical version of Metasploit. You have the Metasploit framework, MSF payload creator. Then you have Searchsploit, used to find exploits. Then you have the social engineering toolkit, very famous when it comes to social engineering a certain person in order to get his or her credentials. Beef XSS framework, a very popular browser XSS framework, which is basically used to hack browsers by using sending a certain link to them. Then you have sniffing tools, which are basically used to sniff network traffic and all. Then you have MAC changer over here, which is basically the tool used to change your MAC address. You need to be anonymous as much as possible in order to perform penetration testing tasks. So in that case, you need to change your MAC address, all right? Then you have Wireshark, which is basically used to analyze the network traffic and network packets. And then you have post exploitation tools, which can be used to basically do post exploitation, like mounting a backdoor. You have your backdoor factory, which is used to generate backdoors and all. You, with these tools, you can generate, you can, insert backdoors inside the uh, operating system that you have hacked. Sorry about the announcement that's going on. Then you have forensic tools, which are basically used to do digital forensics and all. You can see that Volafox and all these tools are basically used to do any sort of forensics. You have PDF forensic tools. হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ অনেক অভিনন্দন করবেন ঠিক আছে. Then you have reporting tools, like whenever you perform a sort of penetration testing, after that you need to generate a report, all right? That report needs to be submitted to the client or the person or the organization of which you did the penetration test. So in that case, you need to generate a report, and that report can be generated using the reporting tools. You have social engineering tools, very famous, as I said, used to do social engineering, like Multigo. We'll be looking at Beef XSS framework and social engineering toolkit the most. Then you have system services, like you can start the Beef service and all these are different services, and they require one single video for each of them to explain each one of them properly. You have accessories, like some of the accessories, like you have LeafPad, which is a text editor, GVim, and many other things. These are not actually hacking tools. These are more or less, you can say, day-to-day usage tools, all right? You have development. In this, you will see that Qt4 Designer, SQLite database browser and all. Then you have graphics. Internet, you have the EtherCap, Chromium web browser, which is the Chrome browser, not Google Chrome browser. Then you have multimedia over here. I think nothing is there. Office tools, others, system. You have XFCE terminal. Then you have the X term over here. You can see XSSER, used to find cross-site scripting vulnerabilities and all. And then you have the options like about XFCE. You can see the version of the XFCE that is being used. Or at the end, the last option was you can log out of the system. You can see that about XFCE version 4.12 distributed by Debian. All right, so credits, Debian, copyright and all, close. Here you have the lock screen and suspend, shutdown and logout options. Here you can see that whether or not you are connected to the internet or not. You can see if you see that this option is black in color, that means you are connected. One more thing, one more way to verify whether or not you are connected to the internet is by simply pinging a certain target, all right? Like ping space google.com. If I do that, as you can see that I am getting a response from Google, which means that I am connected to the internet. If you are not connected, then you will see some errors appearing in the terminal. Then you can open up the web browser. Let's see if we open up the web browser to surf the internet. Let's see. It took a while to open because I'm using, I'm recording actually, that's why it's taking a bit too long to open. But as you can see that this is the browser. You can go to google.com and surf the internet in this way. And let's close this one. And you can search for anything you want. You can go to any other website if you want. Let's close this. Alright, so that was a quick overview of the Kali Linux operating system, and we saw that the different types of tools that are mainly used in the field of ethical hacking and penetration testing. We went through different categories and what different categories actually represent. Now in the upcoming videos, we will be taking a look at some of the most important tools in each of these categories, alright? We'll be starting from information gathering, and we will be going one by one through these categories, alright? Some of the categories may not be essential, at least when it comes to penetration testing, like forensics. This is a completely different topic. We don't need this. So forensics may not be discussed. All right, digital forensics is a completely different thing. And then you have wireless attacks, which is basically Wi-Fi hacking. So Wi-Fi hacking and hacking a website is a bit different. They don't have similarities. They are totally different from each other. So these topics can be discussed in different ways, not in the penetration testing methodology. Alright, so that was all about it for this video. If you like this video, then please hit the thumbs up button. Also share with us your thoughts about what you liked in this video, whether you think that we need to do any sort of improvement or not. And also share this video on social media with those persons whom you think that they might be beneficial from this video. And this is Dhruvajyoti signing off, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.